the 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon. Just saying that name out loud feels like a mix of rugged adventure and futuristic innovation. And honestly, that's exactly what Subaru is going for here. This isn't just another SUV or another wagon, it's Subaru dipping both feet into the electric future while still holding on to the soul that made people fall in love with their Outbacks and Foresters decades ago. So if you're into the idea of an EV that doesn't look or feel like a spaceship but still has all the torque, tech, and trail-ready vibes you'd expect, you're in for a treat. Stick around, because wait till you hear what this thing can do both on and off the road. Let's start with what your eyes catch first, the exterior. The 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon has this interesting balance between sleek and rugged. Subaru didn't go the overly futuristic, almost alien look that some EV makers are pushing. Instead, it looks familiar, like a Subaru you already know, but cleaner, sharper, and just a little more muscular. The front grille isn't really a grille anymore, because of course EVs don't need as much airflow, but Subaru kept the signature hexagonal frame. Inside it, you'll see a subtle pattern and a small lit Subaru logo that glows at night, which honestly looks fantastic against the deep forest green paint option. The headlights are slim and angled, kind of like a hawk's eyes with crisp LED signatures that sweep back into the fenders. It makes the whole face look alert and confident, not aggressive, just capable. From the side, you'll notice that this isn't a tall, bulky SUV. It's a wagon at heart, which means it sits lower, giving you that more car-like handling. But the cladding around the wheel arches and the pronounced shoulders remind you it can handle a dirt trail without flinching. The wheels themselves are chunky, with aero-optimized patterns that still look tough, and you can option them up to 20 inches if you want that more upscale stance. And here's something you'll love. Subaru actually designed the underbody to be as smooth as possible for aerodynamics, but they protected it with skid plates, so you don't have to worry about scraping something vital if you go off the beaten path. That's such a Subaru move. Function first, but not at the expense of real-world use. Now, swing around to the back, and you'll see the Trailseeker EV Wagon has one of the cleanest rear profiles I've seen in this segment. A single LED light bar runs across the back, but it's not flashy. It just ties the design together, and the subtle Trailseeker badge beneath the Subaru star cluster feels special. The bumper has a rugged cutout for the tow hitch, which is already wired for up to 3,500 pounds of towing, and the rear spoiler adds just enough sportiness without looking forced. Honestly, if you park the 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon next to a Tesla Model Y, you'd notice how much more personality the Subaru has. The Tesla is sleek, sure, but the Subaru says, yeah, I can haul your kids to soccer, and then I'll take you camping in the mountains the next morning. Step inside, and this is where things get even more interesting. Subaru knows their customers. People who buy Subarus don't usually want over-the-top luxury. They want durability, comfort, and a cabin that feels like it can handle muddy boots and a golden retriever without stress. The 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon nails that balance. The first thing you notice is how airy it feels. There's a massive panoramic roof stretching almost the entire length of the car, filling the cabin with light. The dash design is clean, with a big vertical 15-inch touchscreen in the middle, but unlike some rivals, Subaru kept physical buttons for climate and volume. Thank goodness. You don't want to dig through menus just to turn on the heated seats. When it's freezing outside, the materials are surprisingly upscale though. The base trims get durable cloth with a water-repellent finish, perfect for outdoor lifestyles, but the higher trims step up to recycled leather alternatives that feel soft and premium. There are subtle textures on the dash, inspired by topographic maps, which is a neat touch that ties into the Trailseeker name. Storage is generous. Big door bins, a deep center console, and even a hidden compartment under the rear floor for things like charging cables or muddy gear. The rear seats fold almost flat, giving you a huge cargo area that honestly feels more wagon than SUV, and that's a good thing, because it's easy to load bulky stuff. Tech-wise, the Trailseeker EV Wagon is fully up to date. You get wireless, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a Harman Kardon sound system option that fills the cabin beautifully, and an augmented reality navigation system that overlays trail routes and EV-friendly waypoints right on the screen. Here's something cool. Subaru's EyeSight driver assist has been upgraded for the EV era, and it now uses both cameras and radar for smoother adaptive cruise and lane keeping. And yes, it has hands-free highway assist on certain mapped roads, which is Subaru's first step into semi-autonomous driving. Not Tesla levels of self-drive, but enough to take the edge off long road trips. Now let's talk performance, because this is where the EV wagon flexes its muscles. The 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon comes standard with dual motors, one on each axle, for true all-wheel drive. Combined output is around 320 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque, which means instant punch off the line. 0 to 60 happens in about 5.3 seconds, which for a family wagon is seriously quick. But here's the thing, you don't buy a Subaru just for drag races. You buy it because you want something that grips in the rain, plows through snow, and feels stable on a gravel road, and that's exactly what the dual motor setup delivers. Subaru even programmed a simulated X mode for EVs, giving you traction control settings for snow, mud, and steep climbs. And yes, it works shockingly well. Range is always the big EV question, and Subaru claims the Trailseeker will get up to 310 miles on a full charge depending on trim and wheel size. That's competitive with cars like the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6, and honestly, more than enough for most buyers. Charging speeds top out at 350 kilowatts on a DC fast charger, meaning you can go from 10 to 80% in just over 20 minutes if you find the right station. At home on a level 2, you're looking at an overnight charge, which is fine for daily life. And here's something outdoor enthusiasts will appreciate. It has vehicle-to-load capability, so you can literally plug in your camping gear, power tools, or even a small fridge while you're off the grid. Imagine pulling up to a trailhead, setting up camp, and having your car power the lights and a coffee maker. That's the kind of lifestyle Subaru is selling here. On the road, the Trailseeker EV Wagon feels planted. Because the battery is mounted low, it has a lower center of gravity than a gas Outback or Forester, which means less body roll in corners. Steering is light but accurate, and the suspension has that typical Subaru balance. Firm enough for control, soft enough to soak up rough patches. Compared to a Tesla Model Y, the Subaru feels less stiff and more forgiving, while compared to a Rivian R1S, it feels more compact and nimble. And because it's quiet, you really notice how well Subaru tuned the cabin to keep out wind and road noise. That's something people switching from gas cars will appreciate. You still get that cocoon feeling, even at highway speeds. Price-wise, Subaru has been smart. The 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon starts around $44,000, which undercuts some of its rivals, and fully loaded models top out just under $55,000. When you compare that to the Tesla Model Y, which can easily hit $60,000, or even the Rivian R1S that goes well above $70,000, the Subaru starts looking like a really solid value. And you're not sacrificing capability either. Remember, it tows, it off-roads, and it hauls the family comfortably, all while costing less than some of the flashier names. Of course, no car is perfect. The Trailseeker EV Wagon does have a few drawbacks. The charging network Subaru leans on is mostly third-party, so unlike Tesla's supercharger advantage, you'll have to plan your road trips a bit more carefully. Also, while the interior is durable and pleasant, it doesn't quite match the ultra-luxury feel of a Volvo XC60 Recharge or an Audi Q4 e-tron. And if you're someone who craves extreme performance, you might find it a bit tame compared to, say, a Kia EV6 GT. But honestly, those are nitpicks, because Subaru knows its audience, and this car feels tailor-made for them. So, what's the final verdict on the 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon? It's kind of the sweet spot in today's EV market. It doesn't scream "look at me" with wild design choices, and it doesn't try to outmuscle performance brands. Instead, it stays true to Subaru's DNA, practical, adventurous, reliable, while adding the benefits of electric power. For families who want one car that can handle school runs, weekend hikes, and the occasional road trip, this wagon really makes a strong case. It feels familiar, yet forward-thinking, and that's exactly what Subaru needs right now. So if you've been on the fence about going electric because you didn't want something boring or impractical, the 2026 Subaru Trailseeker EV Wagon might just be the bridge you're looking for. It's the future of Subaru, but it still feels like home. and that, to me, is its biggest win. Thanks for hanging out with me today and taking a closer look at this all-new Subaru. If you enjoyed this review and want more deep dives into the latest cars, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got plenty more coming your way.